In this video, I'm gonna take history's most iconic periods and events and recreate them all inside of Minecraft, starting from the very beginning of time and working our way into the future. But our Earth has been around for a super long time, so we better get started now. This is a pterodactyl, a flying dinosaur who owned the skies. This is a triceratops, basically a walking tank. And this is the T-Rex, the most ferocious dinosaur of all. But in an instant, it all came to an end. The giants were gone, and the world fell silent. For a little. This is a caveman, a human just smart enough to build shelter, make fire, and hunt for food. With dinosaurs no longer existing, they could finally make their mark on the world. But it wasn't until humans started working together that they began to thrive. And over time, that little bit of teamwork allowed them to go on and create some of the greatest civilizations the world has ever seen. Starting with ancient Egypt, which began over 5,000 years ago. It was known for its great pyramids that towered over 400 feet tall, its intricate hieroglyphics that were carefully carved into tomb walls, and of course the Sphinx, their massive guardian with the body of a lion and the head of a pharaoh. Or in this case, me. I'm the pharaoh. Anyway, while Egypt was busy building some of the grandest monuments to ever exist, ancient China was busy inventing things instead, like paper, silk, and the compass, which I've never used before. Bruh. But they also made more flashy things, like crossbows, fireworks, kung fu, and even the Great Wall of China. However, China wasn't the only civilization who liked making walls. Ancient Rome did too, one strong enough to protect their cities from any sort of invasions. And inside, Roman life was packed with crowded homes, markets, and people from all across the empire. But at the heart of all of that stood the Colosseum, a massive battle arena where all different types of gladiators were brought to fight in front of the entire city. And often the emperor would decide the winner. That fight was a bit boring. Do it again! But while the ancient Romans continued beating each other up for fun, the ancient Greeks were a little more organized with their entertainment, as they actually invented the Olympics, a structured series of athletic events including running, wrestling, long jump, javelin throw, and discus throw, where the winner in the majority of the events would be awarded an olive wreath crown, eternal fame, and recognition from Zeus himself.
Yo, that was pretty lit.
But the ancient Mayan civilization is where things got really cool, because these guys were literal freaking innovators. Somehow they turned tree sap into bouncy balls, cacao beans into the world's first chocolate, and even corn into popcorn. On top of that, these geniuses stacked stone temples high into the sky from nothing, used the position of the stars to predict the weather, and even created a written language to document all of their breakthroughs for ages. But as all of these ancient civilizations continued to grow smarter, richer, and more powerful, it naturally sparked an unrelenting competition and conflict. So, to protect their wealth, people, and land, rulers began building fortified structures called castles, taking us right into the medieval era. Now for over 1,000 years, kings would rule the land, knights would protect the land, and peasants would just do whatever they were told, because they were poor. Like me. Except not because they spend all day playing Minecraft, but because they had to give most of their food and money to the king. And whatever was left over for them to keep would probably just get stolen by some people called the Vikings. These were fierce, bearded warriors who had a burning passion to steal. They came from the north with sleek wooden longbows, razor-sharp axes, and fire. Lots of fire. For centuries, they raided, plundered, and made life basically unbearable for everyone in Europe. But eventually, after 3 centuries of relentless chaos, there was nothing left to steal. So with less raids and worry about being robbed, came more time to build, invent, and think. a time also known as the Renaissance. There were several influential people during this time, like Leonardo da Vinci, a famous artist known for his incredible paintings like the Mona Lisa. There was William Shakespeare, a famous writer known for his timeless plays like Romeo and Juliet. And of course, we can't forget about Michelangelo, the famous sculptor known for his 17-foot tall statue of a naked man named David. Sometimes I question the things I do for you guys. But anyway, all of this creativity wasn't the only thing happening in Europe at the time. People had invented the printing press to mass produce books. Then came mechanical clocks to more accurately tell the time. And soon after, Christopher Columbus would set sail on the ocean to accidentally discover America. But luckily, he got out of the water when he did, because the oceans were about to become a lot more dangerous. Enter the pirates. Crews of swashbuckling scoundrels who hijacked entire ships, stole exotic parrots from around the world, and forced many unlucky sailors to walk the plank. Their life's mission was to stop at nothing, to steal every last ounce of gold and treasure that the seven seas had to offer. But this hunt for the shiny yellow stuff didn't just stay on the ocean. About 100 years later, it made its way into the vast untamed regions of North America, a time also known as the Wild West, where broke pioneers risked their lives mining deep underground just for the small chance to find some life-changing gold. And if they did manage to find some, noisy saloons would quickly pop up and ring with laughter to celebrate. Jails would fill up with sneaky bandits who tried stealing gold for themselves. And shouting cowboys would parade the streets wearing their super cool hats. But come on, guys. Obviously, mine is way cooler. This costed me $300, but while I go on to find a better hat, other people were spending their money on way cooler things than me during the Industrial Revolution, the time when science and technology were quickly advancing and inventions were popping up left and right, like the world's first steam-powered train in 1804, making it possible to move people and goods faster than ever, the first camera in 1816, letting ladies take the very first mirror pics, and the first stick of TNT in 1867, used to, well, you know. Of course, plenty of other amazing inventions were created during this time, like the telephone, light bulb, car, and even the airplane. But in 1915, something was invented that changed everything, and that invention was the tank, a massive, unstoppable war machine that could roll over any terrain, shoot giant cannon shells, and even survive some explosions. But tanks weren't just for show, as they were actually the frontline attackers in what would soon be a series of global wars, which I decided to recreate in Minecraft with a small battlefield, 2 rival armies, and different colored tanks for each side. But as cool as all these tanks may seem, this was actually a super unfortunate time for our world to be in, so I'm absolutely not gonna recreate the battles in Minecraft. But thankfully, by 1945, the world was finally at peace, and we could finally start using technology for cool things again that didn't hurt people. Like Apollo 11, a giant rocket ship that literally launched 3 people into outer space, allowing humans for the first time ever to walk on the moon, and get a solid view of the Earth from space. What a time to be alive. But modern day was full of much more than just moonwalking. The 70s kicked off everything with the birth of Star Wars, Apple, rock music, and colored TV becoming a part of everyday life. The 80s were full of neon clothes, big personalities, and classic arcade games that you might just have heard of. And in the 90s, not only was the internet now mainstream, but Pokemon was huge. Trading cards were everywhere, and Lego was at an all-time boom. But luckily, all of this cool stuff was invented before I was born in the 2000s, because if not, I'd have been a sad, sad boy. However, after I was born came Facebook, then YouTube, Roblox, Spotify, Twitter, and of course Instagram to finish off the decade. But it wouldn't feel just right if we skipped over YouTube just like that, because in 2005, when it was released, YouTube was actually briefly a dating platform. And yeah, I bet you didn't know that. But moving right along, next out of nowhere came the 2010s. The first part of this video I finally don't have to do any research on, because I actually lived through it. Unfortunately though, that means I I remember a lot, and I'm not gonna build every single thing. I'm just one guy. So to simplify things a bit, inside of this Minecraft book, I gave myself 15 minutes to write down everything I could remember from my childhood. Hopefully you guys can relate to some of it, and we can talk about it in the comments below. But while I flip through these pages, the 2020s from what I remember up until today in 2026 has been nothing but pandemic, weird social media trends, and AI slowly taking over the world, making me genuinely question what the future is gonna look like. Will people be able to fly? Will humans clone each other for no reason? Will I, Cloud Builds, have 1 million subscribers? I don't know. All I hope is that we continue to have fun, video games never stop being awesome, and hopefully robots don't turn evil and take over the world. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider liking and hitting that subscribe button. Let me know what you want me to remake next, and I'll see you guys next time.